Hello and welcome to the video. This is a quick video just to take a look at an updated version of something that we looked at a couple of months ago. Now this is the iRange i8X-IR8M, and it's a radio that inside it has that wonderful 4-in-1 multi-protocol module that you can buy to go in the back of a traditional radio, and there's also a more traditional form factor of this radio and actually new versions of that coming out as well. But this came out a couple of months ago looking very similar to things like the TBS Tango, and it has all of that multi-protocol goodness. So if you have a Spectrum receiver, FR Sky, a Walkera, Bind and Fly, pretty much everything, so long as you can figure out which protocol it's running, you can connect up to this radio. It's running the deviation software, and I really like these radios. It means that for relatively little money you can get a radio that will allow you to upgrade from the crappy little controller that you get with most kind of cheap indoor models, or if you want to buy a radio to maybe pass on with a model that you've had enough of to a friend or family who wants to get into flying quadcopters or planes or whatever, it's a great option. The challenge with the very original version of this was there were problems with the centering. So that meant that as the sticks moved back to the center position, it wasn't always recognized exactly by the radio. And that was due to the fact that the potentiometers that actually detect the rotation of the controls on the radio were not mounted securely. They were a little bit loose and could wobble about. Now, lots of people have done brilliant videos to actually show you how you can fix that original radio, but very soon after it went on sale, it was taken off sale. And it looks like iRangeX have been doing a little bit of engineering and updating the radio, not only to address the issue with the sticks not centering properly, but also to address some of the other criticisms and feedback they got on that very first version of the product. So as you can see, as we're taking it out of the box, it is shipped a little bit better this time. The protection for the sticks, it's a little bit more recessed, and there's a little bit more foam about to make sure that it doesn't get damaged. In the front pouch you have a little receiver, and you also have a USB cable to connect it up to your computer, because you can use this thing as a PC joystick too, and there's also a little adapter cable. Now that adapter cable allows you to run this thing off a little 2S LiPo battery. If you can find one that fit in the compartment, you can actually remove the 4 AA battery adapter that's already in there that comes with the radio and run it off a LiPo, which is a nice idea. So the main thing we want to know, of course, is how does it all work? So I'm going to just pop the back off this radio and let's have a look at whether or not these potentiometers are nice and secure. To take the back off, you undo 6 screws. There are 2 here at the top, just by the side of the battery bay, and then you have to remove the 2 rubber covers on each side, which are the grips, and under there's an additional 2 screws on each side, making 6 in total. Once you've got those undone, then it opens like a clamshell. The 2 rotary controls that are at the top are plugged in on relatively short leads, but you can, if you're gentle, lift it up and open it like a clamshell computer. So let's just get in there a little bit closer and have a look at the potentiometers, and everything looks a lot more secure in here. Again, with the old version, if it wasn't as secure as this, you could use a number of methods, a little dab of hot glue and all kinds of things just to stabilize them, to stop them moving around. But these look perfect, so it looks like they've done a little bit of work here to sort this out. I'd always recommend going through the calibration routine. So let me just calibrate these sticks very quickly and make sure that we're all working, and then do a bit of stick twanging to make sure it's going to center. The navigation on the radio is an awful lot easier this time too, because they've taken the time to actually write down what each of the buttons do, which the very first version didn't. You had to try and guess. So that's a welcome addition. This screen printing on the case makes the calibration a lot easier. And with the calibration done, a quick test shows that, yep, it's actually centering very nicely. I mean, it should do. These potentiometers are brand new and they should be working beautifully, and they are. It's centering exactly to that middle position. So the good news is that this has been fixed, but playing with this over the last couple of days and having a look at it in preparation to the video, there are a number of other improvements they've done, not just fixing the sticks. The first is the addition of those legends, so you know what each of the buttons do. That's a very welcome change, because I used to occasionally lose my track on the other radio of what button I had to press to do which. So the fact it's now up, down, left and right, increment, decrement, it's got enter, exit, all that stuff is here, means navigating the deviation menus is now a piece of cake. The rotary switches look like they've been upgraded as well, and they have these lovely large, what feel like metal knobs on the top. That makes moving them around an awful lot easier as well. No middle indent sadly on either of them, but that makes those controls easy to use. Even if you just kind of reach around the back of the radio with a fingertip, you can kind of slide them around. And the last welcome change, of course, is they've added that adapter with a little cable that comes. You can plug that in the back. I've been running it on a 2S LiPo and it's been working beautifully. So in summary, if you saw that original iRange i8X radio and then couldn't get hold of one, you probably missed out on buying a bit of a dud because of those problems that were there in the initial version. But it looks like they've taken the time to increase the quality of the radio a little bit as well. Some of that slightly plasticky, rattly thing that was going on that I talked about in my very first review has all been addressed here, and they've done some nice tweaks to make this feel like a much more polished radio. If you found that video useful or like the content, then please hit the like and subscribe button down below. If you want to go the extra step, you can become a Patreon of the Painless 360 channel and help provide support for what I do here. All the videos created here are put into playlists, so if you're interested in a particular topic, have a look at the playlist, and they all are organised in there to make them easier to use. If you're not sure if there's a video for your particular problem or topic you want to know more about, then add Painless 360 to the Google search term that you're interested in, and that should find the video, article or content about the particular thing that you're interested in having a look at.